Welcome, everybody. Boy, it sounds like I'm giving away free money. Everybody's here. This is impressive. Huh? Okay. We're good to start. And tonight, we're very fortunate to have Daniel Webster, Healthcare Relations Manager and Vice President for U.S. Bank, to join us to offer some amazing prospects that has eluded lots of us for most of our career. Hold on, I need to try to figure out how to admit some latecomers here. And next time I'm gonna have to somebody host this thing here. There we go. All right, next time don't be late because you might not have gotten the free money, okay? All right, here we go, the bus is leaving. Tonight's topic is treatment financing for AMD cases and more. Like your full potential in practice and in life. Sounds like a huge promise, but it's for real. So we're going to talk about bundled financing to turbocharge your growth in practice and in life. Okay, so you're going to get paid upfront in full for your AMD cases. You no longer have to play bank, thanks to US Bank. And you can bundle a whole bunch of stuff, including AMD training, branding, and mentoring. Everything you need to succeed in ways that you can't begin to imagine. If you need a CBCT upgrade, this will make it possible with ease. This is a great book. It's called Good to Great. Every business school requires this book. I'm going to focus in on this graphic about how you've gone all your life and when is the takeoff point going to happen. All right. And what's going to make it happen is John Webster. Daniel Webster, are you here? Speak up.
Yes, I'm here, Felix.
All
Good
right.
evening, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right. This is not only VP for Healthcare Relations for US Bank, but also VIP tonight. All right. So he's going to tell us about patient financing for treatment and doctor financing for treatment and equipment and office and everything you need to bake the cake of success. So how has your investment in dental school paid off? Have you reached your full potential in life? You got a dentist degree. You spend a lot of money in dental school, in your dental school training, right? Well, we have pretty good evidence that your full potential will be delivered by AMD training way, way more. So let me give you an example. You went to dental school, you got trained to do this. Here's a patient who's got straight white teeth and totally miserable. All the parts in yellow are patients presenting complaints. All the parts in white is what we notice here. after braces in high school, he still ended up with crowded teeth. And yeah, he's got straight white teeth, but he's grinding and he's clenching in his sleep. And he's got all these other symptoms. That's what our dental school investment left us. This is a bunch of airway mouth doctors in Las Vegas last year, ASBA conference 2024. This is Dr. Jessica Lam. This is her case. And here's what happened, okay? No shots, no drills, no pain, no surgery, no screws. He's 90% better. Sleep apnea went from 10 to 0 on a scale of 0 to 10. Teeth grinding to 0. Teeth grouting to 0. Tired and anxiety went to 0. Pain in neck, shoulder, and back pain went from 10 to 4. Altogether, he improved 45 out of 50 points. How many doctors would he otherwise have to go see? Right? So this is what AMD training does. It's a 4-part clinical and hands-on training, and then we now have an optional business track. But we're not just offering you these 4 seminars and the optional business track, okay? We're offering you a full potential as a healer to bring this out of your patients so that they lead their full life, okay? Some of you have seen this before. The point is, we didn't give her another night guard when she ground through her night guard. We recognize that teeth grinding is an airway problem, all right? So we're able to double her airway, minimal cross-sectional area where the airway collapses to cause sleep apnea. We're able to triple her airway volume, and that's why she looks entirely different, okay? On the left, she came to me 4 years after braces. On the right, she came back 3 years after she was treated with this method called epigenetics. This is the beginning of a sea change in concept. What dental school taught us about night guards comes from the dark ages when the earth was flat. We're now in the digital age where the earth is actually round as it always been, okay? And now we are in position to bring this out of everybody. I looked at this picture over and over again for 10 years, and I finally figured out that this is an issue of epigenetics, okay? Epigenetics means the study of how 2 things can affect how gene works: behavior and environment. This is according to the CDC, okay? So change your behavior, change your environment, you can change how genes express themselves, like you saw in the previous case here. So I said, well, why don't we apply this to the mouth? So this is a summary slide that says, okay, if you do this plus this, you can change your face. And guess what? You do not have to be Felix Liao. You could be an AMD who take the training and you can produce this result. This is the case of Dr. Doris Perez. And this illustrates what we do as part of AMD training. We mentor our AMDs, and AMD in turn can produce this kind of result. Look at this airway on the left. I mean, this patient has no right being alive in front of Dr. Doris. And yet, 2 years later, she had 8 times wider minimal area in her airway. This is totally painless. Are you there, Dr. Doris? Yeah, unmute yourself and speak up. Did you drill this patient's tooth?
No. And the funny thing is that when I show her, she's been my patient for many years. And when I started, she was one of my first patients. And when I show her that picture right there, she freaked out. Honestly, she freaked out.
We are in
So she's like, I'm ready to go. I don't want to die.
All right, so we're in the best position to affect the patient's lives, okay? And here you have evidence that you can multiply somebody's airway 8x. This is a lady in her 50s, all right? So you don't have to be a teenager, all right? The stuff that we learn is dark ages dentistry in dental school, okay? We have 10 differences, 10 differentiators from the rest of the training program out there, okay? We don't have time to go over every one of them. Those of you who want it, you can reach out to me and I'll be happy to send you a picture of this, okay? What I want to do really is to have you envision your future. Envision that you can be free from the grind of drill and fill. Envision that you can be pain-free in your own head, neck, shoulder, and back. Envision that you can be giving pain-free treatment to your patients and totally transform their life and their career and their medical, dental, and relationship destiny. I want you to start imagining that you can generate revenues from paradise instead of operatory. Can you begin to imagine that? That's what happened to some of us last weekend in Panama, okay? Here's my feet. I was making PowerPoints, presentations from my bed, and this is my view outside my room, okay? Sorry, dental school didn't teach us that. Dental suppliers didn't teach us that, right? This is a bunch of us who went to AMD retreat in Panama. Those of you who are here, identify yourselves. Dr. Kristen Lewis, unmute yourself.
Okay, here I am.
Okay, all right. So to the person, all right. Here's Dr. Nimi. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Nimi. Here's Dr. Hal.
Hello.
All right. Dr. Adriana, right? Okay. So to the person, would you just raise your hand and say yes? You all said you didn't.
Yes.
You all said you didn't want to retire, right?
Yes.
What did you want to do? What did you want to do in your retirement? You said. This is remarkable. First,
Teach AMD.
yeah, everybody wants to teach AMD. Okay, this is how in love you can become with your profession. This is how in love you can be with your patients. And trust me, your patient will be in love with you. When you can produce results like this, you can produce results like this. All right. Now, these are the early adopters. These are the charter members of the AMD movement. Okay. In fact, Kristen Lewis here, she spent her birthday in my class 1 week after finding out that the next class is on her birthday. Okay. That's remarkable. So this brings me to this. For the rest of you, I'm going to ask you this question. When will you begin to reach your full potential? How much longer will you have to stay on the high-speed hamster wheel, doing the drilling and the filling, being on the track that's laid down for you by dental school, dental insurance company, and dental suppliers? I mean, isn't that the overhead you're working for every month, forever? I'm telling you, there's another path where you can take off and have total joy. And this is where US Bank and Daniel Webster will come in and help us very shortly unlock your future potential with way lower rates, okay? And, but first, I get to kind of set the context for you. This is Washington, D.C. suburb last weekend. I want you to see this as your potential. I want you to see this as your patient's potential too. This is a 59-year-old man turned 60 during this time. Ask yourself what the face tells you. Underneath, this is the airway. This is a frontal view right here of his airway, okay? We increased his airway 40% in 10 weeks. That's why his face changes. And his attitude, his manner changes, okay? That's because we have a new playbook now. The new playbook can deal with patients' complaints on energy, sleep, pains, mood, and more. So the way we do that is see impaired mouth syndrome first. In other words, how does a mouth that is structurally impaired can end up affecting whole body health? And then we can treat with a whole new painless method. This is one of my recent examples, okay? This is a dentist who faithfully followed the dental hygiene school and then dental school. He was on that track. And once she got on ours, she took off. Like that graphic I showed you, all right? How did we do that? Well, we did the 3D jaw diagnostics. We figure out what software and how much. And this slide summarizes our treatment. It's not just the appliance. It's changing the oral behavior and the oral environment with this combination. And we design our plans based on these findings, right? And guess what? This is the difference. 96% improvement in 15 months for all the symptoms she presented at baseline. Pain, sugar craving, mixed sleep, wake up, acid reflux, neck tightness, fatigue, sugar craving, sweet tooth. Look at the difference. We never touch her teeth with shots, drills, braces, or anything that dental school taught us. So the requirement for maximizing your AMD success is right here. You have to take the 4 seminars that are hands-on to acquire new skill set. I'll explain to you why you need AMD branding. I'll explain to you why you need AMD mentoring shortly. But here is your basic equivalent of dental school training, only much less cost and much greater yield and much more likely to launch you into full potential and freedom and joy. These are the electives. Do you want your staff trained in office? Do you want AMD marketing to get you the right matched patients? For example, if your insurance is largely, if your practice is largely insurance driven, how are you going to find the right match patients who are looking for natural health solutions at root cause level, right? Are you interested in AI driven to turn your dental practice value 10 or 100 times? Do you have a CBCT that's large enough to see the neck? Do you have a need for a laser to do frenectomy, right? So some of these equipment costs a fair amount of money. And so what financing does is gives you what you need to start practicing this way. This is priceless for me. I would do anything in order to produce this kind of result. No braces, no appliance, You just have to know what epigenetics can do. This happens to be my granddaughter. Does it remind you of that cherry blossom slide? Yeah, okay. This is nature. This is natural health. This is what God intends for us, every one of us, and every one of your patients. And even at midlife, even at menopause, even at postpartum, you can do this. So what we're offering is not just 4 seminars. We're offering a boarding pass to your full potential as a healer and as a giver. All right. You went to dental school not because you want to drill teeth. You went to dental school because you want to help somebody. You're a giver by nature. Okay. So this boarding pass will take you from pain and fatigue yourself to painless epigenetics. And you can do this for yourself and for your patients. You'll go from stress to joy, right? And one of the things that I learned from my mentor, Dr. Rich Beisel, is you cannot diagnose what you don't know.
It's actually really interesting.
All right? Dental school didn't teach us what I just told you here. If you don't know, that's what knows means. Dia means to differentiate. Okay, diametrically opposed, to know the difference. If you don't know the difference, you can't treat effectively. All right. And if you do know what impaired mouth syndrome is, then you can transform healthcare, you can transform faces, and you can transform lives, including your own. Okay? So this is what we diagnose: 6-foot tiger in a 3-foot cage. Underdeveloped jaws, oversized tongue, all right? And now you have a choke zone in the airway. The origin of that choke zone is right in that space that we look into every day but don't see. So that's what we do as airway mouth doctors. Let's look at the mouth. This mouth is full of clues for CSI. What percentage of your dental patients have these issues and these signs and symptoms? I'll give you a little time to peruse all of this. You deal with this every day, but not effectively, right? What is the root cause of this? If it's not night guard, then what? Veneers, braces, clear trays? I've seen more TMJ pop up after clear tray treatment. All right. I actually welcome people who come to me after being disappointed from this. Okay. I have so many patients who said to me, I wish my dentist could do this for me after I give a podcast. And it's get air around the world. We get requests from all over. All right. So AMD stands for airway mouth doctor, and they're trained in diagnose impaired mouth syndrome. Like, how do we see this and this before we start treating, right? And we're able to make this kind of difference. We're able to double the airway in this case, and doubling this airway from 123 to 225 in 28 months in this 47-year-old career military officer. It's the difference between ED and not having ED. It's the difference between having to sleep with CPAP and not having to sleep with CPAP. Okay, so ED is not a hormonal issue. According to European Journal of Urology, most cases of ED recognize a vascular etiology. It means it's your circulation that's in trouble. And how does your circulation get into trouble? The root cause is right here. 6-foot tiger, 3-foot cage. That's not diagnosed. So that's why my patients tell me we need a new type of dentist. Right? Dental school taught us how to fix broken teeth, troubled teeth. AMDs fix an entirely different class of problem. Your patients don't know this, and that's why you need branding. That's why you need a separate awareness campaign. This is what AMD can do. All the pain is gone. Dentists need this worse than everybody else, and yet we're licensed to treat this, and yet we don't know how to do it. It's simple, painless, okay? From top left, counterclockwise to top right. This is 30 months. Look at how you can change the social life and the college career for this young man. His scoliosis went away. We can fix depression. We can fix anxiety without drugs. Yep, get off. One of my happiest things that I do in my career when I look back will be that I can help kids get off drugs. The proof of AMD practice is established. 80% of health troubles starts in the mouth. That's why I have so many stories to tell. So, Dr. King, remember this one? Way back here. Okay, so she took her own case and showed it to her patients in this biological dentistry practice 1 day a week. All right, 1 day a week, she worked as an AMD. So in 1 year's time, I mentor her, that's how I know. She had 33 cases diagnosed with records. 32 of them started treatment. That's a 97% acceptance rate. 97. It shows you how hungry the patients are. And these are not chump change, right? You're with these patients sometimes for 2 or 3 years. So this is the typical fee that I charge, right? In my early days, and I charge according to case severity, okay? If it's a complex case, I charge more. If it's a simple case, I charge less. If it's not compliant patient, I charge more. If they're a compliant patient, I charge less. What's the transformation worth to this woman? From left to right, it's 3 years. During that time, she gave birth to a baby. You're not supposed to look prettier, younger when you give birth, but she did. This is one of the more costly cases. This is a surgical case that turned non-surgical. We avoided $100,000 worth of maxillomandibular advancement surgery for him. Here's Dr. Maria Dwyer, Bismarck, North Dakota. Okay, this is not LA, this is not New York, this is not Miami, this is not Denver. In 2 months, she started 51 cases after her first course. This is how hungry patients are, okay? As soon as mother find out about it, they want it for their kids. This is Dr. Jeff Yelly, right outside Denver in Monument, Colorado. This is Brittany. He says, we don't have time to play this audio here, but by far the highest ROI he has seen implementing advanced dentistry in my practice will be AMD training. Why? Because you have more than 80% of your patients suffering impaired mouth syndrome, and the right match patients can't wait to buy your root cause solution. But how are you going to find your right matched patients? That's why you may want to consult our brand architect and your brand launcher. Match you with the right patients who are looking for you. This is all Alcina. You're welcome to scan this code and check out drfelixliao.com that she built for me. I'm gonna have to look for more staff or look for a bigger office as a result of this. Okay, so this brings me back to Daniel Webster. All right, how are you gonna pay for this? Well, with US bank financing, it's gonna be so simple. So here's Daniel. So I did a quick search. US Bank is 5th largest in the United States. Okay, so we have a powerful partner here. And Daniel Webster is in charge of healthcare relations. How's that for a visionary practice, right? They care about you guys. He's not a rookie, lots of experience. Went to Berkeley School of Business, Haas. And he's going to talk to us about patient financing for treatment and doctor financing for either AMD training or equipment. So this is called Advance. And Daniel Webster, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with such an excellent group of doctors. And this is a transformational opportunity, first and foremost, from a health perspective, and one that we unequivocally hold as a top priority to be involved in. And I think the synergy between what Felix just described and what US Bank can do will create tremendous access for your patients and also for your practice. So I'd like to start with the patients first. So US Bank, we own what is called Elavon, which is the second largest payment processor in the world. And so we finance for many medical and dental practices. But one of the key aspects of what we do is processing payments. And so when a patient is ready to pursue a treatment, let's say an example, that's a $10,000 AMD treatment, then what we're able to do for those obviously patients who don't have that type of liquidity to pay for that procedure, in that case, we provide a point of sale solution for your patients to finance that treatment. And what you're seeing here on the screen is exactly the interface of what a customer will see when they apply for patient financing. And so just imagine they're at your front desk, and within 5 minutes or less, they can submit their application and be approved for the entirety of the case. Now, the nice thing is the practice, yourself and your colleagues, anyone who is participating in this program will receive the full payment for the treatment and the case upfront, which is really, really nice. And then from there, the patient will actually make payments back to the bank. So you can think of it as a loan. And what's really nice is you're seeing here on the screen, the cost to the practice is generally 5%. Now, it could go higher depending on which type of financing option, but this is our very best, as you're seeing here. Now, we can actually finance patients from $300 all the way up to 25 grand. So we have the capacity definitely to take care of any cases that Felix has just described. And the rate to the client, just wanted to point out, will all be credit driven. So it'll be based on their credit score. And then they'll have an option, as you can see on the left column there, to finance up to a 60-month or 5-year term. for the patient financing, and then they will make regular monthly principal and interest payments back to US Bank. So I think this is tremendously helpful, especially in the economy that we see ourselves in today, where people are striving and working hard to meet their needs, meet their overhead. But this is something that I think can really change a patient's life. I mean, I look at some of the slides and the cases that Felix showed me, and I was sharing with my colleagues even today. Patients look, 5-10 years younger. They look happier, they look energized, right? And so I'm just really excited to be able to offer this to your guys as patients, and to be able to bring that cash flow directly day one to your practice. So definitely excited to connect after this call. Felix will share my contact information, and we can do a full demo for your office and for your staff, and answer any questions that you may have as the treating doctor. And we actually did 2 of these today. So we're seeing a lot of growth in the area, Felix.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So where are you in your launch point? When is your practice going to take off so that you feel like you have reached your true potential in life and not only in practice? All right. When are you going to go, woohoo, I was so glad I went to dental school? Okay. So we did a breakdown on bundle financing. Okay. So bundle A is just this basic training here. Okay. Training, branding, and mentoring. All right, mentoring, you basically have no experience. So how are you going to gain any experience? Well, we have mentors who are experienced, like those who you saw in the picture earlier, and they will mentor you. We think you should do 20 cases before you're qualified to take the training wheels off. All right, we're going to include the first 12 and give it to you at the price of 10. Or you pay for 10 cases, you get 12 mentored, okay? And so that's the basic package. And if you need the ultimate marketing to get you the right match patient, let's say you're PPO or you accept insurance, or you have a lot of patients who say, hey, if insurance doesn't pay, don't talk to me about anything. Well, you're gonna need to find a new set of patients, right? Well, they're out there. They're hungry. They want an AMD to solve their problem. We know this for sure. AMD-C is for people who need hardware, equipment, upgrades, acquisitions, okay? And D is just people who want deluxe bundle. It's like getting a car. You want a basic stripped model so that it gets you from point A to point B, or do you want everything? All right, so 3 years, 5 years. The most expensive is $5,850. The least expensive, $800. How do you break this down? Well, if you do 1 case, you have money left over. 1 case a month. All right. If you do 1 diagnostic record a month, you have money left over. So either end is easily covered. So think about how homes get sold, cars, dental school education. If you don't get financing, nothing gets sold. Same thing with AMD training, AMD cases, same thing, okay? So the way you're gonna launch is when you have everything it takes to deliver what the patients want to buy. It's that simple, all right? There are oodles and oodles of heartbreaking cases. This patient wanted to kill herself because she was in so much pain after extraction orthodontics. We'll show how to diagnose impaired mouth, how to target the solution, right? So you can identify where she needs growth, where her airway is crying for help. Grow the damn maxilla for me. If you get the training, this case will scream at you through these images. If you're a dental school graduate who faithfully followed the track laid down for you, this will be like, huh? So allow me play this for you, okay? This is how to get free from the 3-foot cage, how to break free from the hamster wheel. All right, you get the idea, right? And guess what? Because we did that, we're able to rescue her from the brink of suicide. This patient reached out to me from Perth, Australia during the pandemic. I never touched her. And even if the patient comes to your office, let's say this is a patient who has been to you for 20 years, the work is outside the patient's mouth. They love it. And guess what? I'm standing upright. I'm not bending over the patient. I don't need a lot of staff. I don't need all kinds of equipment. And here, you can tell just by looking at her face, she's way happier. She's thriving again. So let me ask you, what do dentists traffic in? Boom, ping. The moment you go to a dinner party and people find out that you're a dentist, like some reaction sets in, right? Well, not anymore. Because when you can offer painless epigenetics, the patients want to buy it, okay? We traffic in wellness. We traffic in full potential. We traffic in this. This is Dr. Nimi Cyrilin's daughter, all right? We put her through this protocol. We double her airway. She went from average duckling to a swan. And it's not just for good looks, right? College doesn't give out 4 years of scholarship for good looks. This is not a beauty contest, but this is an intelligence contest. College give out full scholarships based on potential, all right? She won the national championship in speech and debate because all of her baseline symptoms got 80% better with this treatment compared to having braces on. Mom made a decision and it paid off. This is $160,000 to $200,000 worth of scholarship. So how are you going to find the right matched patients who want to buy these root cause solutions? How are you going to get your messages out that you have what it takes to make this? I want you to look at the date. This is today. While I was away in Panama retreat, this came in, all right? This is how you're going to get the right match patients. Scan this QR code and book a 30-minute free call with her. See where she can take your practice to that takeoff point. This is one of my favorite quotes. Life isn't about finding yourself. You're not discovering AMD training. Life is about creating yourself. It's about launching yourself into a different orbit. Your patients are turning blue, waiting for you to rescue them. So here's your boarding pass to your full potential. Again, I ask you, what percentage of your patients are suffering from impaired mouth syndrome undiagnosed? And if you can fix 80% of them, why wouldn't you help them? Now that financing is here, right? You can do this. This is a dentist who had frozen shoulder. When we added impaired mouth treatment to everything else that she had done for her frozen shoulder, she got so much better in 2 months. 2 months, as opposed to a year of doing all kind of treatment that led to this. How are you going to put the patient back together when they have all kinds of issues? Oh, I'm a dentist, I just fix teeth. When you become an airway mouth doctor, even scoliosis could be fixed. All you have to do is get this new skill set. Learn how to interact with the patients this way, completely pain-free. You can produce this kind of result at the end of phase 1, where you end up regrowing the jaw. We purposely overexpand so the teeth can settle back in according to lips, jaws, tongue, and swallow muscles in the pharynx. No shots, no pain, no drill, no braces. So I invite you to elevate your game. And US Bank can make it all possible for payment terms of your choosing that's easily covered by one case per month. One case a month. You have to be a really lousy communicator. You have to not try. Okay. And so oral contribution to everything else. My God, I was surprised. Okay. All this has been proven by my patients. Case experience. Then the mouth contribute to all of these. And to this list, you can add frozen shoulder. Low back pain, neck pain, hands down easy. How much is your airway worth? And if you can make this kind of results for yourself and your patients, you'd be one of the very, very few doctors who can help prevent leading causes of death in the United States. No doctors that's really trained. I mean, dentists are trained to prevent tooth loss and control periodontal disease. But now through airway and oral behavior change, whoa, we can totally turn the patient's medical dental destiny around. Last case, I'm just play you with this one video, show you how fast this thing can turn around. So this is your first time back after you got your stop driving appliance, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so tell us what you felt like when you left the first time.
Well, when I first left out with the appliance and driving home, I could turn my head left and right a lot more easily. I didn't have that little kind of knot on the left side of my neck. I could turn left and right very fluidly.
Wow, that's quick.
Mm-hmm,
I'm
yeah.
happy and thank you for sharing your experience with us.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, that's the end of my presentation. I know it went a little long, but hey, having a lot of fun when time flies, right? So did I understand correctly? Does anybody have any questions for Daniel Webster of US Bank? Feel free. Well, let me ask one question for all of you. Do I understand correctly, Daniel, that the patients will have no recourse with the doctor when they start this program? that the recourse is with the bank only, right?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. That's what's really nice is you won't have to, as Felix said, play bank. You won't have to spend extra time and staff dollars, frankly, on collecting payments. I think that is a huge advantage. And then on the financing side, as Felix said, we can finance the CBCT machine along with the mentorship and the training courses. So we definitely have you covered A to Z. And most importantly, too, we have a 0% interest credit card for 18 months. So if you wanted to do shorter term financing, we could do that on any equipment purchases at 0% for 18 months. And all of those financing options for your practice are business financing. So they won't actually report as accounts on your personal credit if you're going to buy a home or buy a car.
So how would they get in touch with you? Can this
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, the easiest way, I think, if we can send a follow-up to the group, you can call me anytime on my cell phone.
What is your cell phone number?
My cell phone number is 650-740-2528. And I'm based here in Silicon Valley, San Jose, California, but I work with clients across the country. So I would be delighted to get a demo set up for patient financing, and also our equipment financing for the CBCT and the training and mentorship courses are going to be a one-page application, very simple, and we have decisions on those in less than 24 hours. So very easy, Felix. And yeah, looking forward to working with the group and being part of Healthcare 2.0 here.
Thank you. I'm typing your phone number into the chat box. Give me the number one more time, please.
Yes, sir. It's 650-740-2528. And that's my direct line. Please feel free to text me, call me anytime that works well, and we can get started right away.
Okay, so I send that to the chat box. You guys can just copy that and contact Daniel if you cannot wait. Denise will send out a e-blast to all the attendees next week. She's off starting tonight. So as you can see, I'm a little helpless without her, so bear with me. And that's why we're giving out the phone number here directly, 650-740-2528. I can speak from experience that when I was getting onboarded, man, you have no idea what kind of healthcare relation service U.S. Bank is providing, okay? They are the Nordstrom of among bankers. Okay, they really follow up. They talk to your secretaries, your office managers. They see to it all the dots are dotted, all the T's are crossed. They see to it that you get taken care of. I certainly did. So I expect the same for each and every one of you. So you no longer have to suffer in silence, saying, "Oh my God, when is this gonna be over?" All right, you too can say, "Hey, I want to enjoy teaching about AMD practice all the way into my retirement sunset years and have fun laughing all the way." Dr. Stewart and Dr. Adriana and Dr. Nimi, Dr. Doris, Dr. Kristen, do you want to add anything based on your experience?
Well, I do. I have another question though for Daniel.
Sure.
Is there a penalty to for the patients if they want to pay it out earlier than their contract? If they did it for, I don't know, 6 months or a year and they decide to pay it out, is there a penalty for that?
You know, let me double check that. That is a really good question. The first time I've been asked that question. I know the answer to that on the practice financing. After 1 year, there's no penalty. And on the 0% interest card for 18 months, there's no penalty whatsoever. But yeah, can I follow up on that and get back to you? Would that be okay?
Sure. And then is the application for the patients, is it something they do over the phone while they're there? Is it?
Yeah, you said that earlier.
Okay. They do.
Good.
Yeah, it's usually done from their mobile device. So they would scan a QR code,
Okay.
and then they would be able to, enter their application, and within less than 5 minutes, they'll get a decision, rates, and they'll be able to choose their term.
Okay.
And if I'm correct, then we're charged, or we pay the 5% of the total fee that they borrow.
Yeah, in that example that we shared, you would pay the 5%.
Okay.
And I've heard too that some other patient financing sources can be a lot higher. I know that's a reasonable rate. It was discussed too in a few demos that I've been on with colleagues that 5% could be added as a service fee. I don't know if that's something that's being done, but yeah, I mean it's very competitive relative to the market for sure.
And that's
Okay.
5% to us, no matter what their percentage is. No matter what they come back eligible for, it's still 5% for us, no matter what. Is that correct?
Well, no, it's going to depend on what term and rate that they're paying. But that is, as you saw in that example, it applied to, and you'll see it in Felix's slide, the various terms that were listed there. But I think what we should definitely do is just do a quick demo, because there's a lot more to the presentation. We kept it brief and cursory for the group here tonight, and then we can go through the specifics of how that all works. But when you look at the slide in Felix's deck, you're going to see it's going to vary based on the rate and the term.
Okay. Can we just set up a time with you, everybody that's on this
Yeah,
call?
you can choose a one-to-one time with Daniel simply by texting him.
Yeah, I'd say for you to mitigate or to use your time efficiently, if we all just, that might be hard to get us all together at a certain time, but and you could just present all of us at once.
Yeah, and the demo would usually take like 15 minutes. So I think if we give ourselves a half an hour, we'll be able to cover everything A to Z. That's for sure. And then, answer any questions that you have. Now, the cool thing is this integrates through our payment processing of debit and credit cards. So our goal is to get you the patient financing, make sure that it provides great ease and access to your patients, but also to get you a better rate on what you're paying for normal credit card and debit card transactions, because it all works within our in our US Bank Converge system. So yeah, that's the hope, that we can save you some money and then get you quicker cash flow and quicker payments for your patient financing.
So it's probably better if just each of us reach out to you individually, and because like we would like to have our office manager there when we do that with you.
Oh yeah, I think that would be great if we could just schedule a time that works for everyone, the whole staff, especially as you mentioned, the office manager, because they're going to be the ones managing this. That would be, really easy to do. And yeah, we can take great care of, obviously your patients, and then anything that you need from your practice as well.
Okay.
Question, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know you said the rate varies based on their creditworthiness, basically. Is there a way to basically cap what the practice is willing to take a percentage-wise, and then the rest would be kind of carried over to the patient side, or is that not something that's available with you guys?
When I'm looking at the
Cap it
slide
off
right
of
now,
like 8 or 9%, and then if the patient, because of their credit, needs a higher rate, then they would be charged the difference.
yeah. So here's the thing. So basically, if you do a 0% interest option, right, for the patient, then that's where the rate goes up higher. But if the patient is paying interest, obviously with their financing, then the rate would be 5% for you. And I'm looking at the slide right now. For example, a 3-month term, 6 months, 1 year, all the way to 5 years. As long as the patient is paying interest on it, and you're looking at your packages, right? So if your package is only for loans that include interest, then it's going to be 5%. If you
Regardless
were,
of their creditworthiness, basically?
yeah, and typically they have to be above 680.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you were to offer a 0 interest financing option to the patient, that's where that 5% increases. But yeah, I mean, if they're paying APR, right, it's expected that there's going to be interest on these patient treatments. Then it should be 5% for you.
Stable, and then the rest is just the patient.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think that should be fair for the, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, if they want to
absolutely.
finance it, they should pay something so they have skin in the game. But that's just my opinion.
I totally agree. And, right now, as rates have been volatile, but if they have good credit, they're going to get a better rate. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, 5% is very, very reasonable from what I'm seeing in the market. And yeah, really look forward to getting this rolled out, across the industry here. And I just think from all the sectors that I work in, this is natural healing. This is the way the body is supposed to obviously thrive. So I'm just really excited to be involved in this, and especially having a young 2-year-old daughter. Felix opened my eyes. So I think wonderful work here.
Thank you.
And
Just one
is it
for on
Go ahead.
behalf of everybody else. How does this compare to Care Credit, which is a commonly used financing vehicle in many offices? Daniel, are you muted?
Oh, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. So what I've heard, this is what I'm hearing from feedback that I'm getting from doctors all the time, especially in the last few weeks, is that, Care Credit, can get into the double digits, right? And I also think, it was a good question that was just asked, because if the client is, or the patient rather, is paying interest, then it stays at 5%. So I think there's tremendous value there.
Thank you.
And
Anyone
one
else?
last question.
Yeah,
Go
of
ahead.
course.
Us offering this financing, is it contingent on moving the credit card processing to US Bank, or is that just something you offer as extra but doesn't have to be part of it?
For clients that are already processing with so we have Rectangle. I'm sure you've heard of that before. For clients that are processing already with Rectangle, they already have functionality to use Advance. So they can plug right into that. But of course, if this is something you want to do, we want to get you a better overall package deal on your debit and credit card processing, right? So we would do an analysis on what you're paying. Our hope is to bring those rates down and integrate the patient financing for you. And then if you're looking at, even our financing, our 0% for 18 months, that's unparalleled in the market. And I can tell you this from personal experience. Our financing rates for real estate right now are under 5%, right? 4.95 is what, we're normally seeing for commercial real estate rates. And the market is, up at 6%. So my whole takeaway, something I learned from the hospital business, my job here is to make sure that we are minimizing the amount of interest you're paying, which we do on credit cards, which we do in the fees on debit and credit card financing, and to maximize the top line, which is your revenue. And the way you're going to do that, of course, as Felix detailed, is by seeing more patients. And I think as a reward, changing more lives. So what you want to do is grow that top line, You do that by providing more access and affordability through the patient financing, and then minimize the fees you're paying on debit and credit card processing, and minimize the rates that you're paying on financing. And when all of that is taken together, your bottom line is going to grow significantly. And I think that's more than more than most in the market. But that's what I try to do for my clients, and I'm always in it for the outcome. So I want to see your guys' patients ultimately thriving, living successful, happy lives, and then I want to see you obviously making a much higher level of income, and then of course we'll grow together, and the bank does well too. So yeah, that's my whole philosophy. I'm all about the outcome before the income. So where I can save you money, and I do it often for clients, I absolutely will, every time.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Well, you AMDs can take heart. Bankers are smart people. They wouldn't be enthusiastic about working with us unless they see market potential for themselves, right? So the fact that U.S. Bank is interested should bode well for you in your decision to go ahead and do AMD cases for your patients. Okay, any last minute thing?
Quick
No.
question.
Shoot, shoot.
Quick question. Just
course.
for curiosity, if let's say the patient have like 680 credit score, what's the interest rate for that patient?
That's a really good question. That comes up a lot, and it depends what their utilization is too, like how high their balances are. Some people, their credit could be at 680, which is not it's not a bad score, right? Anything above 700 is considered strong, but some people can have like numerous cards and loans, right? And that's why their credit is at 680. But some people could have a few cards, fewer loans or credit cards or lines of credit that are really utilized, right? Which have really high outstanding balances. So what I do know is when the credit utilization is very high, the rate is going to be higher because there's more risk there, right? And if someone has, 10 investment properties and they have loans on all of them, but not high balances, they could have a 682 because they have so much finance, but the risk is lower because, those are income properties. So, it's all going to depend. I think they're going to range. But let me see if I could get that question answered and if there's a correlated rate to that number. I just don't know what it is directly, right? It all depends on the client's, total profile, quantitatively, but also qualitatively.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All right, with that, I will take one last comment or question, and then we're going to wrap this up because we have stayed way over time. And I want to thank Daniel Webster for being here. I want to thank all of you for the interest you've shown. And we're happy to support you to reach your full potential in life and in practice. Going once, going twice. Adios. Thank you.